Generation A through Z. What's up, y'all? I decided to do one of these outside videos. This, believe it or not, this is like a little nature spot in a metropolitan area aside this parking lot ahead of you, behind me, to the side of me, and the left of me. I know that's strange. But anyway, y'all, I'm talking about generational sponges. I've talked about this before, but maybe I should talk about it outside. But, it's like how no one really is the generation that they claim to be, meaning, you know, I'll just revise again, is people in the 80s listen to 70s music. And even in 5 to even less years than that is a big difference. So it's like we're always referring back in whether it be fashion, pop culture, music, history, anything, trends, we're always going back. And so more later on generation, those who are 20 and below. I work with a few guys who are 20 and below. They're pretty cool. They kind of got the opportunity here to either reach for something in the past. Like they got to kind of construct their own, I guess you can say, I don't want to say personality, but that fortunately is a part of it, but just construct their own style, their own approach. And that's a cool thing. And every generation before that, you know, had that. They just got one. Now they got, us millennials, Gen X's to kind of refer to, and that's not a bad thing, because a lot of people I see putting it down like, oh, the TikTok generation and all that, and that may be true. That's just what they were raised with. Like I call these kids the kids that I work with, 20-year-olds, the pandemic kids. They were in high school during the pandemic, and they it didn't seem to bother them. Like I think of myself, if that would have happened, I would have been stoked. Like I don't have to go to school, whatever. It didn't seem like what I gathered from a lot of people, not just them. There was a lot of accountability there as far as academia goes, and like right answers. Just kind of like whatever. We're all going through a bad thing, I guess. Let's just lax. But you got to think about like the social implications and detriment that had on them. Um, really, like we were in high school. We had the opportunity objective to leave early if we were in high school, or to make bad decisions, hang out with bad people, do bad things. And yes, they have those options too, but they didn't have it in the veneer of a social situation. And they haven't really, even before the COVID, like because of that, because they were brought up on these phones. It's the parents' fault. A lot of them, they brought them up, raised them by, they're like sponges, like we all were, but even more so. So they have a lot going against them, and a lot of people I just see putting them down. I'm like, bro, anyone's reasonable. It doesn't matter when you were born. If someone's reasonable, they're a reasonable person. If they have good integrity and, more importantly, character, then that's a win-win. And we need to be teaching each other. We need to be us. We had to, someone, maybe millennials, had to teach baby boomers how to use technology and stuff. Now they know how to do it. And just like they taught us certain survival things, certain things that don't apply in the digital world but are still very beneficial. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. And, we shouldn't be so dismissive as to not pass that on and give the next generation, even the ones that are maybe more lost, being patient with them and giving them a chance, like bestowing some wisdom on them, bestowing some skill whenever you can. I just make these videos because I see a lot of people putting them down. And I worked in juvenile corrections at this point of many years, but this point during the COVID and stuff. And these were just kids, traumas, like a lot of stuff going against them. Their parents were more like their friends, and just, well, should I have been in that position? I'm a millennial. These kids are wimps, or blah, blah, this and that. No, they just were brought up a different way. And they had more access than we did. Way more. They had more exposure, a lot of exposure, really quick. That we we still had our hands in tangibility. We were still able to easily consume, purchase stuff that you were able to hold. Now if they want to do that, like there's like a record store and maybe two in every city, unless it's a really big city. And usually then you're not going to find most of the stuff you would want. Then you have to like special order it if you went that route, and then pay way more than you should. So like they have to go through a lot, of course. And then there's the other side. Like I said, they also, as we do too, have the opportunity to just search something like, oh, that's lame, I'm not buying the record. you know there's pros and cons to it, and that has the effect. It affects their behavior and how they develop socially and emotionally. As you know, us millennials, we can't act like we weren't prone to that too. You know, we just didn't. We had horrible programming from our schools. If you haven't figured that out by now, then man, God bless you. We had horrible, really, like media, like horrible programming as far as pop culture, music, and all that. I mean, it is what it is. Like, really think back, like the big thing when I started getting music was grunge, and it was already an afterthought. Like most of these people had already been established, and it's just the hits kept going on the radio in the West. And but really, listening to all of that music, almost all of it, but generally 90% of it, it's beautifully written music and soulful, and bluesy. And I don't mean bluesy just like the blues, just it's from the heart, but it is not it's not edifying, beneficial to the soul. It's very negative and very downtrodden. And it's just woe is me. And just like I listen to a lot of punk music, and I was never really into the stuff that was like all blame the government for everything, or just I like some good like angry life type music, not directed towards the government. But even then, with that type of music, I've had to like kind of move on and not listen to it anymore. And I'm not saying I'm better than anyone or that I'm some freak or something. I still listen to some stuff, but my palate has changed. I'm no longer angry in those ways. Yeah, I'm pacing, but excuse me, I just get like a fly in my throat. But I am no longer. It's just no longer serving me. You know what I mean? It's like having an old bud that you keep around that just is. He's more of an inconvenience. It's just doesn't mean he's not like your friend, but sometimes you have to move on. I've moved 3,000 something miles from California 17 years ago to Tennessee. I don't tell that to anyone. Now I'm confessing it to the internet. But anyway, is I still have buds out there, but it's like, what was I going to do? Supposed to do? Stay around and just chill with them? No, had to move on. And so my whole point to all this, it seems like there is a point. I am kind of ranting though. Is we learned. I learned. I was talking to some guys who were listening to Alice in Chains. They were really young, and I told them I praise blah blah this and that, and then I told them, you ever listen to lyrics? And I don't think they did. And I'm like, I wasn't preaching to them, but I just let them know, music has a spirit, music has energy, and it does. And just want to be mindful. Everything we take, this isn't music. This is just that's an example. But what we listen to, what we watch on YouTube, who we listen to, it all, just like what we eat, it all has effect on us. It really does. It's gonna have a never-ending effect. By the way, this is a stain that's been there. It's like an oil stain for like I've had this shirt for like probably 12 or 11 years. Longest shirt I've had ever. And it's a super comfortable shirt. But anyway, just if y'all were wondering, I'm not exactly a slob today. You know how cool that blue is. But I thought I'd do a long form video outside. I'm gonna start changing it. I got so used for so many years of doing it in the car, and I think I need to come out of my comfort zone and start going to actual places, not in between a mall, a grocery store, and a highway and a Panda Express somehow. But this was as good as time as any after I just got out of the gym. Um, but just, the generations, y'all. The whole point, you teach what you've learned. And sometimes people take, there's inevitable truths. There's no my truth, no your truth, no Gen Z truth. There's what's true and what is false. And that has been convoluted for way too long. And if you don't have that standard, that point of reference, then you're going to be very, very lost and confused in life and aimless, or as they call it with the Napoleon Hill, a drifter. I've been that for many years of my life. But there is just universal truths out there. Like drinking, that's a hard one. Some people I know can drink one beer, two beers, be okay. I'm maybe jealous because I can't do that. It's 100 or nothing, and abstinence or a buffet. And that's just how my mind is. It's excessive like that and whatever. But the question goes down to is no matter what, alcohol is bad neurologically and physically for you. It doesn't matter even if having a few. The studies have come out more and more lately showing that it said an advanced drinker. I think I read in the new, it's like, I think it's like, it said like 6 to 8 or 4 to 6 drinks. It's one or the other. And I want to even actually say it's more 4 to 6, but a week. Man, I used to have that done in a 10-minute drive off of work. Like, that's insane. And so the universal truths we need to pass down is what I'm saying. Is we need to pass these hard lessons we learned. It doesn't matter if you're not going to render the result you want and change them, but that seed we've all had seeds planted. A truth came into fruition later, and I remember that, and they were like, "Oh man, yeah," and they were trying to do to me, many different people in life, was just try to prevent me from destroying myself, prevent me from all the hardship I put myself through, right? And I didn't heed to it, and so I learned the hard way, as many of us do. And that's why we need to be more serious, particularly all you dudes, us that are. I'm gonna give the cutoff mark 38, 38 and above. We're just a different breed, and talking more in the millennial sense here is we're not ancient enough to them yet. Might got a few years, maybe a decade, I don't know. But we still have clout and influence, and we need to be passing that down and treating them with kindness, being patient with them, you know? Yeah, I'll talk to them. They'll be on their phones. And I'm like, thinking in my head, that's rude. But I'm like, it would be rude if this was someone my peer group. But I'm like, this is how they are. This is how they were raised. Now, it doesn't mean it's not a bad habit. And someone should hold them accountable, but it's not me. You know what I mean? Unless I was like actually giving them I was directing something towards them that was of high importance. It'd be the only time I'd say something. Just, man, I would have rather had excuse me, a problem with TikTok than I did with my alcoholism. You know, I would take that. What's worse? Questionable, right? But no, there's no question about it. With alcohol, it's physically horrible for you on top of mentally. And the argument could be said about TikTok too. I don't watch it, and that would be very true if you're sitting down watching it all day on your butt and it does definitely, like as I said before, it has effect on your mind too. So it's like I'm not trying to compare teeth here because they're both pretty sharp, but yeah, just this is just kind of a, again, all over the place. There's a point of reference video. I don't think my stuff out. I don't premeditate anything. It just is what it is. But it all makes sense. And if it's something I'm saying, it's probably something I would have wanted to hear when I was younger. And someone needs to hear this. Someone needs to hear this. If you're younger, try asking, like if you're in the younger generations, look also towards you. Towards that. Look at your elders. They are that. They're not out of date. There's a lot you can learn from them too. There's a lot we can learn from each other. We can learn a lot from you all, and you all can learn a lot from us because we're all individuals. So it's just something to chew on. It's a really, really beautiful day. I mean, I think it's like mid 50s. And if anyone knows Patrick, that's Patrick's like warm spring weather, you know. I don't really get bothered by cold weather that much. But it's really nice out. The sun's out. You know, you never hear me like praising the sun. I avidly wear hats and stuff. You know, I burn Irish in me. You know, but I thought I would get some sun later, late afternoon, beginning evening sun. Looks like my skin looks pretty nice. Like it has a good glow to it. That's good. Meaning it's not burnt. But I hope some people watch this video because I decided to do my first walking video. It won't be my last. I actually like this. I might have to get one of them selfie sticks because I'm just holding this. I got my microphone. Hopefully the traffic in the background's not too much. But I'd like to do more of these videos. And whoever watches this one, sometimes it's weird. I had a video, did really well. I didn't expect it to. And didn't realize, I mean, it may not see well in the great scheme of things, but it was a video on like alcohol. And it was about 22 minutes, like this one. And it got 700 and something views, full views. And so metrically broken down, not every one were full, but a lot of them were. It became a lot of watch time for something because I've realized, I'm like, yeah, it's a longer form video. That's what I really would like to do, and I like to do, and I need to do them more, especially out here. It's just the weather out here has been, as you know, we've been going through them crazy inclement weather, snow, and all that stuff. So has not been ideal to be outside, and for some reason I've allowed that to stop me from making more. But this is what I enjoy to do, y'all. I The name of my channel, Death Coach Syndicate, it started as a playwright towards a anti-hero towards the gurus, the life coaches, you know. And I have a disdain for most of those people. And that's kind of why I started this channel. But then it just turned into a bunch of other stuff, and I'll go back to that one day. But I used to teach cognitive behavioral therapy and other various alcohol and drug groups, co-occurring disorder, and I really enjoyed that in a clinical and in a um, behavioral or correctional situation. I enjoyed that. I did it in every one of those with youth, adults, and I felt I was really good at that. I was able to take the curriculum that they gave me and not present it in a robotic way, but keep its roots, but then just rephrase it, tell it. And this is what I'd have to do to adapt to these groups of young kids. And these kids were gang members. They hated each other. I'd constantly, just half my job was preventing them from killing each other, literally. And I would have to teach these groups and kind of come in between them all, learn them first to be able for them to get the information, because there was certain groups of kids it was so bad that I just would refuse to teach because I knew they were just so rowdy. But I would also, the kids I knew were interested in it, I would go to them individually and talk to them, give them like a kind of a quick little review of it. And that's what I enjoy to do. I would love to, on here, I would love to make this like a part-time job thing. Not saying crazy monetization, blah, blah, but I would love to actually be able to do this. I'm doing it now for free, and I would love to. Man, if there was a way for it, I would love to do it. I would just to simply travel. And so I'm gonna start making these videos. I haven't been able to look at myself in a while, y'all. It's been a rough year. Breakup, lost my home, lost my vehicle, got it repossessed. No, it was had a total loss and then it got repossessed. I lived in my car for a little bit. Um, just long hours at another job, like unfathomable hours, but for the same cowboy pay. And living in tractor trailers. It's been a crazy, crazy year, and it's all good. I don't. This is my first time confessing that. This is my confessional video, and to it's time to come out with it. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Um, I'm constantly making bad decisions, as we all are, or not the right decisions. That's a little dramatic. And look at the sun peeking down at the Hobby Lobby. But yeah, that's just me. This is my story. This is not my story what led me here, but this is my story why I'm here now. The devil and the details doesn't matter at this point. That's just what I want to do. I recording an album, writing an album. Never done that. Been playing guitar for a little bit now. And I kind of did, but I never did actually make an album. And so I'm doing that. Um, I've wanted to write this book. I've written, jot down. It's called An Introduction to Self-Destruction. It's kind of like an autobiography, but with object lessons there. And I don't know if I want to just commit to sitting down and writing it. I really don't. And so I got to think something in technology, maybe even just talking to AI to where they put it on or something audio to that, or just do this for one chapter. Just write out a format, and then go over a chapter wherever. That would be cool. I also have wanted to, for a long time, make a really short film. That may be in the works. Doing these videos, you know, I don't know. I'm a pretty introverted guy, and I'm pretty shy, but I'm not timid. And so these videos are very beneficial. And I just kind of went into it head first. Like, just didn't stop. I'm sure, they say you look at your first videos, they're horrible. Um, I've seen some of them. They were definitely on an older device, but I don't think they were horrible. They were the best with what I knew, what I was going through at the time anyway. So it's just how you do it is get to it, y'all. Start something, whatever you want to do. That's my whole mission right here is this. It's the last point in this video is displace yourself, remove yourself from what you consume, what you obsess over, what you comfort in. That's like write it out, or maybe just you can do it quick in your head. And If it's something that's not negative, like drinking, doing drugs or something, or whatever, if it's something like, yeah, simple as I like to watch movies, then get involved. Get involved somehow. Do movie reviews. Do YouTube movie reviews. Do make your own movie on your phone. I look at this phone. This is nice. And this is iPhone 17. It's not even the highest grade one. And I can make a freaking movie on this with the right filters and stuff. And so we're at a point like that where we can do that. If you're in like music, a lot of people like music a lot. It's like, bro, pick up a guitar, pick up a saxophone, start singing, write lyrics. There's a clue there and an angel in the details of why you enjoy this stuff. And instead of consuming it, it's time to be an active participant. Let's be an active participant in this, y'all. Whatever it is. Hollywood, it's garbage. They can't even think of good stuff. They're cringy, they virtue signal, do as they do but not do as they say but not as they do. No, now is the Renaissance, dudes. Now is the time for the Renaissance out here, man. Time for you all to create. I've seen two weird fan-made independent movies the past few days, this weekend, and they were excellent. They were excellent, and it had little views. It was just made by somebody. That's what I'm talking about. Just like you hear a good song and it's like there's 10 views in it and stuff. You're just like, yeah, you know, that's where we're at, y'all. Can you imagine if we just, instead of, imagine if you didn't pay for Netflix or one of your subscriptions, just one, just take out one, right? And you had 5 people on YouTube that you support or whatever format. I'm on YouTube. And you had those people, and instead of that, you can give them $2 a piece to split the difference. And then say something in return, someone does it for you. And it's like imagine if people did that, if they just sacrificed that right there, just an app. And you'd be able, like, just that's just for the creator economy. But imagine if that actually, if everyone paid their apps towards homelessness or some type of benevolence charity. It's crazy to think about. Y'all, it's time. I don't care what you're doing. You don't have to do videos, but it's time for y'all to start your creative beings. You're not meant to just consume. You weren't meant, unless you were sick, no one in the tribe back in the days was not meant to just wait for the hunters to bring them food. You had to be an active participant. Y'all need to go out there and do it yourself. No one bathed you. No one made you drink water or anything like that. You have to do it to yourself, y'all. I can't believe I've done this video this long. But anyhow, that's what I want to see, y'all. This is the sum of everything. This is why I'm here. This is why he's here back there, maybe. He just doesn't know it. Y'all have a good one.